Hello, my name is Billy Hall, and this is my assignment project over leadership. So, leadership, when I think of leadership, the main qualities that come to mind are being, first of all, be adaptable, having the ability to change your leadership style depending on the situation or the person you're dealing with. Second, being trustworthy. Your team or your employees need to know that you have their back through it all, no matter what. They need to be able to trust you day in, day out, that you're going to show up to work and you're going to work to get better every single day. Third is being confident, having faith in your ability, having faith in yourself and yourself to get the job done. Fourth is being committed. You have to be 100% bought in every single day in everything that you do. Next is being accountable, holding yourself to a higher standard than everybody else being a leader. So that means being accountable for yourself, and then holding your teammates or your employees accountable as well. Next is just being a motivator. People are going to have bad days. People are going to want to show up and just get by, just get through it. But it's your job to be a motivator, to motivate them to want to work, to find a way to make them want to get better. Next, decision making. You're going to be faced with a lot of different decisions. You have to make tough decisions. You got to be a decision maker. You got to be able to make those tough decisions and live with it. Next is having empathy. And basically, just having empathy is in just getting to know everybody, get to know your teammates, getting to know your employees. And the next is culture. And basically, when I put this on here because it's very important to have a good culture as a team, and I believe this starts with the leadership. And I put this on here also because we struggled with this here at Reinhardt with football 2 years ago. So Schroeder, in Changing Team Culture, talks about how a bad culture can completely ruin a good team. So here at Reinhardt, for the example, is after we lost the national championship, we started to fall apart. Players began not believing in the coaches anymore, questioning everything they decided, all their decisions, play calling, who was playing, who was starting, and then players not believing in their teammates anymore. That became a big thing. People arguing on the field, people getting in fights during practice became a lot more of like a bigger issue. And then our culture began to get worse and worse each and every day. It took us, honestly, 2 years to get people who were negative and was more of just like a cancer to the team, get them gone or get their whole mindset and mentality and like approach changed about how they were going about things. And to where now we have completely flipped everything, kind of like completely rewrote the culture of our team. And the program is finally moving in the right direction again. Next is get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I struggled with this really big at first as a leader. I wasn't very comfortable leading people. I came in 17 years old as a freshman. I wasn't very comfortable leading people like so much older than me. People who had been through it more than I had. And it really took me just honestly knowing people had my back is what really like allowed me to kind of like step forward. And I was uncomfortable at first for the longest time, but the more and more I did it, the more comfortable I became with it. And Purdue of the Jane Group says, if you're not comfortable, you're not leading. And as a leader, you're going to piss people off. Not everybody's going to be happy with every decision you make. Not everybody's going to like everything you say. It's just part of it. And I've heard this a lot. My dad's always told me this, it's lonely at the top. Not meaning you're above everybody else, but you're the person they look up to. So it's gonna be lonely up there. When they not happy with you, it's gonna be lonely up there. And then something you have to deal with and just live with is you're gonna make people mad. So you have to remember that you're doing it for the team. Your ultimate goal is you're doing it for the team. So Ryan Hanley in The Uncomfortable Part of Leadership talks about how anything making you uncomfortable is a chance to grow as an individual and as a leader. That's having that growth mindset towards everything you do. And then being consistent showing up each and every day with the same mindset and attitude, pushing everyone every single day to be their best. And then having to make those tough decisions again, coming back with being uncomfortable, is you got to make them. No matter what it is, you can't put them off. You have to make them. Next, I put Peyton Manning on here. And he's someone I've always looked up to in the way I go about leading, and someone I always try to take leadership qualities from. So Pat McAfee talks about in his YouTube video about Peyton Manning's leadership, about how Peyton was a guy that you seen putting in endless amounts of hours, taking the reps. He talks about how Peyton didn't have like overly a strong arm, so he had to make thousands of reps of dropping every ball in a bucket. And he said that he became that guy you were scared to let down because you seen him working so hard so often. He talked about how Peyton builds relationships with every single person on the team. He said that he was the punter, and he still had that relationship with Peyton because Peyton took that serious. And it also talks about how Peyton was a servant leader. And then an article from Burton and Welty talks about how servant leadership is basically not asking someone to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. And then Al Wilson. And the reason I put this on here is sometimes people struggle to step up and speak. Sometimes people struggle to step up and be a leader, or knowing when the right time is for them to be a leader, or even question oftentimes if they are a leader. So, if you're a Tennessee fan, most of the time you know the story of Al Wilson and kind of how he came about. So, in 1997, in the SEC championship game against Auburn, Tennessee was trailing 20-10 at halftime. On this team, there's also Peyton Manning and defensive end Leonard Little, who were set in stone, the leaders of this team. Everybody knew they were the leaders. There was no disputing it. You listen to whatever they said. So while they're trailing in this game at halftime, everybody's quiet. Manning isn't saying anything. Little's not saying anything. And it's kind of weird because Al Wilson said, I just felt like if any time is going to be the right time to stand up and say something, now is the time. So Wilson went on to challenge the entire team to what we say at Reinhardt now, to flip the script. Come back out. We got to have more energy, more execution, more fight in the second half if we want to win this thing. Wilson talked about how he had not been a champion in anything he had ever done. He had never won the championship. And he said that's where he really feels like drove him to say something, drove him to really speak up. But most importantly, Wilson did something that really shocked everybody. He challenged Manning and Little. He said, y'all are our leaders, lead us. He said, y'all are the people we look up to. Y'all are the ones that need to be saying something. And what really happened was when we went out there, when they went out there for the second half, you see Peyton Manning's gameplay elevate to another level. You see Little's gameplay elevate to another level. And it was literally all because Al Wilson stepped up and said something. Al Wilson was a leader, but he wasn't the leader to the level that he showed at that halftime. And really that's when Tennessee knew they had something even more special than what they had that year. So, this leadership kind of led into the next year of 98, where their first workout, Al Wilson's the first one there. Not only is he the first one there, he is calling people on the team, telling them to get there. He's wanting everybody to show up early. He's wanting everybody to show up and put in the work. And this solely led to, the national championship in '98 and Tennessee being as dominant as they were, was because Al Wilson decided to step up into that leadership role. And here are my references. Thank you.